Hello, welcome to the Hat Chat podcast, episode 108. Would you believe?
I do believe it. It's written down here. I hope it's 108 and not 109.
Well,
I can't remember if I counted these correctly.
We've lost track.
It's one of those things. But welcome. Who was that thing by? Chris Trott.
Well, if you watched our YouTube version of this podcast, which you should definitely check out, that was by Holly Cooper, and it stated it in a really nice graphic.
It really did. You worked very hard on those graphics just literally moments before we went live. Also, I'm hoping, the fingers are crossed, that we haven't got the ultimate stutter edition, because the stop motion animation version, I don't think it's easy to watch, but you can hear us. That's the important thing. You can hear us. We're buttery and smooth,
silky. If not, we'll just put True Motion on, like on an LG,
like on a TV. Yeah.
The thing I always turn off and have to turn off at like my grandparents' house or like my parents' house. It's what is this? Why does this suddenly look really weird and jarring?
I want to watch EastEnders at 120 frames. What would that look like? I can't.
You can't. Well, turn True Motion on. You certainly get an idea. I can't believe people can't notice that either. That's what annoys me about it.
Yeah,
it's just like you have to then go. Yeah, but I guess if you get accustomed to it.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure.
I think it's the same with. By the way, I'm Alex Smith.
Oh yes, I'm Ross Hornby,
and that's Chris Trott. Gone.
I'm Chris Trott.
There he is.
He's sure. Yeah. He's sure about
just
that.
In case anyone has never seen our faces.
I think that's the case for like so many things. Actually, like you think, like I think there's the same thing for
getting used to it, acclimatizing.
Like whether you care, basically. You know, like, as in, like you say, like why can't people notice how weird this looks, especially when you've bought a really expensive television and you want it to look good. I think the same thing with some foods. It's just like. It's not necessarily difference in price. It's just like, can't you tell that this is awful? Why aren't you having this? You know, and the same sort of thing. Like, it depends on what you care about. Like, it's.
Yeah, I think when you visually see something and it's like that looks jarring and strange. But then saying that, when I worked at Curry's, I would change all the TVs because obviously they're like broadcast mode or whatever, their display mode in the store would literally have all those features on, True Motion on, brightness to the max, super high saturation.
Yeah,
I don't think it looks appealing. It looks awful, but obviously it's so bright in there. You have to like combat that.
And they also had like a HDMI splitter that split the feed a million times, so it made it look bad anyway.
Oh yeah, that was fun. And then being like the kind of quality person, trying to get high quality from that. Yeah, you get quite annoyed with that.
You should have worked in richer sounds, mate.
Yeah.
Do you ever lust after a job in richer sounds?
I've been to richer sounds before.
Yeah.
There's I didn't really lust after a job there. No. Very quiet little places, aren't they?
Is it?
Obviously, Curry's like was busy, so it was always busy, and it's like in its heyday.
I went into the Curry's up near Cribs Causeway recently, and they're renovating the entire store. But they decided
that's a big store.
I know, it's massive.
It's massive.
It's like a bloody aircraft hangar. But they decided not to close the store. Instead, they've cordoned off 90% of the store.
Oh, right.
And you walk in and they've just picked like various products that are just in the front of the store instead. Right, really bizarre. It felt a little bit like being at a car boot sale. Yeah. But that new one's going to be good.
Yeah. But that was the TV question, and basically it looked awful. And if you have a motion setting on your TV, turn it off.
Yeah.
And that's what it should look like. That's what the directors.
And if you eat Rustler's burgers,
don't eat Rustlers.
Don't.
Make a burger. Buy a burger. £1.19. That's just a little bit more.
Is that how much a Rustler's is?
No, that's how much a McDonald's basic cheeseburger
I see.
is now.
Right.
Why are you judging everyone for
but it's still cheaper.
eating Rustlers?
I judge everyone all the time. I expect they probably judge me too. I
guess in a pinch.
In a pinch, you'd have a Rustler's.
Have a little Rustlers, yeah.
Or you just not. This is what I'm saying. Like, as in, like
not to, yeah.
Like this is the thing.
If
it's
you
just
fancy a burger and you want it now, and it's like
Daft's favourite burger.
It's not a burger.
Well, it is.
It's not.
You can't. There's no McDonald's for.
It's like
10
saying
miles,
I really fancy a curry, and the only
Rustlers.
thing I can get is like a tin of curry that's like not even a good. I know some things can be good. I'm just saying I know it's a bad, cheap brand of tinned curry. Yeah. I just won't have curry that night. I'll have something simpler. I'll have beans on toast.
Oh, I see. Okay.
You know, like as in like. That's what I'm getting at.
If you're going to have the calories, or
make them quality,
make them high quality,
make them quality calories is all I'm getting at. But I mean, we are skirting
the cost
over
of living
something.
crisis, though.
Well, beans on toast.
Beans on toast is fine.
Beans on toast.
What brand of beans?
That's from a tin.
Own brand.
What brand of beans? Well, that depends on
own brand. Now.
I mean, to be honest, any beans are
Branson's.
pretty good, aren't they?
Branson's.
I mean, sure. It doesn't really matter.
Heinz.
Not Heinz. They up their prices.
I mean, I won't go in Asda just because it hurts me to be in there.
Wow.
Why is that?
Because it's owned by the Walmart family.
Well, that's your reason.
It's not.
That's the Walmart.
That's definitely not. That's not the reason Smith doesn't want to go in there.
No.
Why don't you want to go? Why don't you want to go in there? Why don't you want to go into Asda? What's wrong with Asda? It's got a really good sushi bar.
Has it?
Yeah.
It does.
Fresh sushi.
Yeah.
Is it?
And Cinnabons.
They have the Cinnabon there. You love Cinnabon.
I do love.
That's not really technically part of Asda though. It's just literally within the same area. There's also McDonald's there. So
I'm lucky
that
I don't have to go in an Asda.
I would say it's not that much cheaper. Like I'd rather go Lidl.
So I looked at this, and so Aldi is the cheapest, Lidl's second cheapest, Sainsbury's is actually really cheap as well. They compared a load of stuff.
Yeah.
Like Tesco,
I imagine it fluctuates
Asda,
quite heavily.
It does.
It depends also location. If they're on the high street, they're more expensive. If they're like superstores, they're a little bit cheaper. So yeah, it really can depend. And the reason
one of the reasons I really dislike Asda and cost of living.
Like cost, yeah.
Hat films do a really poorly formatted cost of living examination.
You could get a pound. A pound is fine, right?
It's just a pound.
Pound some beans.
I dropped a pound. I think for me when I used to work at my previous job to this, I had the nearest supermarket to us was an Asda, and I think I strongly associated just the drudgery of going to an Asda for lunch. And I'd always buy I'd sometimes buy their quick meals, like their ready meals and stuff like that, and I'd try and get a good one, like a healthy living one or something like that, something that's
calorie
not too high in calories and just healthy, not going for carbonara, every time microwave carbonara. It is nice. It's nice to microwave carbonara. Certain things creamy. Are going to come out of the microwave pretty well.
Yeah.
And I would come back and I'd just always be disappointed. And every single time, I just feel like I could taste the cost cutting, in all of it. I just don't like their colour scheme. I don't like their colour scheme. As the colour scheme was
bold,
awful.
Isn't it? Yeah.
I don't know. I've really developed quite a problem with Asda. And it's the only one. I mean, it's not...
What about Tesco? You got
fine. No qualms with Tesco. No qualms with Sainsbury's. No qualms with Aldi. No qualms with Lidl. It's an exciting time going to a Lidl or an Aldi, isn't it? You get to see...
It is, just because at the end it's a real rush because they're just getting you out the door.
Oh, they really chuck those things through, don't they? Yeah.
Well, Lidl, there's a Lidl I go to that's so space age compared to Tesco.
Oh, yeah, I've seen some of those. Yeah.
It's amazing. The checkout tills are just really super flat screens, and then they're super quick versus the old CGI model of showing how to collect a ticket or receipt out. But yeah, it's really good, apart from someone had massive BO there when I was there, and it just ruined the whole experience for me. Other than that, it was very good.
Wow, that's happened to me before, where you've walked past or behind someone and the BO trail is strong. It's putting me off the food. And in fact, it's making me make poor choices.
Yeah,
because I'm trying to find different...
I've avoided this whole healthy salad aisle because the BO is there.
Yeah.
Oh man, it really was gross. But anyway,
trauma shock.
It's International Dog Day.
It's International Dog Day. Talking of smells,
which we all knew that before we saw an article just before the stream.
Happy International Dog Day.
Happy International Dog Day to you.
Thank you.
And to you.
Thank you.
What do we do for it?
We celebrate that dogs are in our lives. So we've managed to domesticate them and make them our cute little accessories to our lives.
To show my appreciation, I've actually worked with Cadbury's chocolate, and I've sorted out sending a bar of chocolate to every dog in Bristol.
What kind of chocolate?
Milk chocolate.
So
every dog, because of International Dog Day, it says Happy International Dog Day.
Cadbury were on board with this. They were like,
Cadbury were like, brilliant, yeah. Who's paying for this? And I said, I'll pay for it.
Why are they on board with that? They should know the first rule. Don't feed chocolate to dogs.
Oh, well, because they were like, there's so many more dogs have been bought during lockdown that people have less disposable income to spend on our chocolate. So we're looking to drum up some business. And I said, well, International Dog Day is coming up. Why don't we send everyone a free bar of chocolate to remind them and their dogs how delicious dairy milk is? Is that, genius, right?
Would they die for
also, it really depends on the dog. If you give them a lot of chocolate, they probably would die.
Death. It wouldn't just be vomit and shitting.
There would be a lot of vomit and shit. Yeah, that you can kill a dog by feeding them chocolate.
One of the curses of being a dog is that you want chocolate. You're punished for being a dog. Is
if they get into chocolate,
but you want it. Of course you want it.
Yeah.
Chocolate
but they want
jar.
anything. They trash.
They'll eat and
they will eat and devour anything.
Yeah, it depends on the breed. I think a beagle would devour something and probably throw up and shit himself and then be fine.
Right.
But
chocolate is still
string.
I don't know.
Rope.
String's bad.
Fabric.
Because fabric and string will get caught in their intestines and make tears.
You don't want a clothing line.
And if it goes out their arse, you shouldn't pull it because it could rip the inside.
It's not like a piñata.
You can't just go, let's pull the Let's pull the tag out.
Pull all the way through. You've got to like pass it naturally.
And then they'll kind of like go, what the fuck is this? And itch their ass on the floor.
Sounds like experience.
No, I've seen one. Yeah. We've stopped giving him
Happy International Dog Day. I've got a story about disgusting stuff.
Oh, okay.
This is your dog story, right?
It's my dog story.
So I haven't really worked with Cadbury's, guys. I know that sounded realistic, but that was a joke.
That was a joke.
It would have been nice to work with Cadbury's when we did the chocolate ranking, because we actually bought that chocolate ourselves.
Yeah.
So that would have been nice. Anyway.
So my dog story is very quick, but it's a classic. So I left to go to the gym or whatever I was doing. I can't remember. Left Mochi on her own. And I've got a schedule on my Roomba to go around, just do some vacuuming.
Yeah.
Mochi decided to take a shit right in front of it. So you can imagine the devastation I came back to. Was like, oh my God, like the whole living room stinks of shit.
Oh my God, the smell.
The thing is, there was no trace of it.
Yeah.
Apart from some tire marks.
So it ran through it, but it cleaned up.
It sucked it up.
Now you got dog shit in your Roomba.
I've got dog shit in my Roomba. So this is like post gym, so I'm fucking knackered.
Yeah.
I had a really long conversation with my neighbor that I was like already knackered.
Yeah.
And I came in and I was like, oh God, it stinks
smell
in
of
here.
shit.
It stinks of shit.
How do you have to just go around with a mop and just, was it carpet?
No, it's thankfully hard floor.
But you still have to now you have to go through with a mop and like make sure
I was going around with some Zoflora, like antibacterial spray.
But it sucked up, so I'm guessing it was a fairly whole piece. It wasn't like sloppy.
Yeah, she always does like
sloppy would have been
consistent pieces, thank God.
That's good.
But just enough for it to like suck up into the Roomba and for it to tread through the tires a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, it was a nightmare. And like all the internals of the Roomba had to be cleaned out.
Oh my God, but it's always going to smell a little bit like shit. For a long time at least.
Yeah, there's going to be nuggets in there.
You don't get that fully away.
Oh my God.
Oh no!
I know there's newer ones you can get which do poop avoidance.
Oh really? Or what, object avoidance?
But I'm worried about those because Amazon have acquired them now.
Right.
Roomba, the brand,
yeah.
and if you got like a camera on them, they got just the whole map of your floor.
So right now, how does it's got these little sensors, which is little flicky.
It's more
brushes.
like radar and low light sensors and stuff like that. But
soon they'll know that, you're running out of this because I saw it in your home.
Beep 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 beep. Object detected on Pudar.
It looks like you're running out of poop bags for dogs, so add that to your cart.
We just ordered it for you.
You remember when they tried to start saying, I don't think they bothered doing them anymore, those buttons you could buy that would automatically order the thing the button is.
Specifically. Like imagine just accidentally pressing that fucker. Like it probably verifies with your phone, right? Where it's like, did you order this?
Yeah, but then why bother having it?
What's the point in having it?
Exactly. Yeah. It's like...
Buy. Get your toilet paper.
That was odd.
Just
maybe
what do they think?
Companies?
I guess, but
even then it's
how many? How many of them are comfortable?
Toilet roll.
Yeah. How many of them are comfortable with like anyone just pressing a button? Like I'm not comfortable with pressing my own button. Why would you?
It might be a better deal as well for that specific product.
What if you had like a weekly shop? And you just had it.
What? I did it all with buttons.
But you had like the whole line on a wall. And
so you could just go
like one of those lights out games.
Yeah. Goes, oh shit! What have we run out of? Like
banana, apple, rice.
Oh, great!
Got him.
That sounds like a fun game show.
Yeah.
Like a supermarket suite,
but with buttons pressing. A much less exciting version.
It's all the same.
Okay,
like
get ready. You've got 3 seconds to press all the buttons.
Yeah. Oh God.
Oh, you've ordered 18 packs of chewing gum
and tampons.
Have fun, Gary.
Jesus. Terrible.
Okay, cool. Well, that's a great story for International Dog Day.
Thank you. Watch out for poops.
It was very recent. That's why I brought it up.
Yeah, I mean, good God.
That's horrible.
It could have been way worse.
But the Roomba's useful normally. I've kind of thought about not getting one because of the dog, because he would probably chase it around and.
Oh well, yeah. It depends on the dog.
Or be like
Mochi's scared of everything, so she'll avoid it. I've got 2 pets which shed a lot of fur.
Yeah.
So having a hardwood floor, if you just leave the floor for a day, there is a coating of fur everywhere. So the Roomba just keeps on top of that, and obviously you still have to vacuum properly because it's not that powerful.
Yeah. Do you have a draft point in your house? Because what I've noticed, there's a draft point in the hallway in my flat where you just suddenly start seeing like these tumbleweeds of like his hair and fur is all kind of like gathering in the hallway. It's easier to clean up because it's all there.
That's nice, yeah.
But like, that's when you know you need to fucking hoover.
I definitely have drafts in my 1940s house. For sure. I just
doesn't it start gathering all the hair?
It just kind of billows around everywhere, to be honest. So yeah,
this is why I like reptiles.
No hair.
No hair.
Shedding though. They've got skin sheds.
Yeah, but it's so tidy.
And it's
it
tasty.
comes off and it's delicious. Exactly. You put that in like a broth, and it's great. It's a little bit salmonella-y, I will say. Some people.
So there's a risk. Yeah.
There's a slight 30% risk of salmonella. Yeah. You know, like, that's not bad. 1 in 3 meals.
That's not too bad.
1 in 3 meals, I get a crippling salmonella poisoning.
What's the risk of like if you just people have raw eggs?
Yeah.
Is there a high risk of salmonella with that, or?
There's a higher risk. I don't think it's that risky. I knew a guy that used to eat raw eggs like every time he went for
Protein
a run.
Hit.
Is there a real benefit to that just because it's just instant?
It's stupid, really. No, I wouldn't bother. Like, humans,
I wasn't going to do it.
No, I mean, humans are designed to eat, like, we better consume things when they're heated because it helps to break down the bonds in the food, so it allows a better digestion. That's why we have to cook certain foods longer, for example, like root vegetables, because they take longer to break down the bonds to make it digestible by human beings.
There's also a limit as well. You don't want to make them too soft, otherwise you lose all the nutrients.
Yes, well, yeah. I mean, that's if you're boiling them. Obviously, that's why like, steaming things is better. Best, but yeah, anyway, I wouldn't bother eating raw eggs. It's not worth the risk, as far as I'm aware.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, don't eat those raw eggs. Put that raw egg down.
Yeah. We've got a couple of hypotheticals voted on by our Patreons, believe it or not. They actually had a look in this time. So thanks to them. If you're interested in becoming a Patreon, we have several tiers. One of them directly causes this chat to happen. Yep. So
causes it. Yeah.
It causes it. You're to blame.
There's also one which covers all of them. So like we have Booty, which is another podcast we do, which is a D&D thing show run by Smith. That is supported on there as well, and also just our general YouTube-ness.
Now I know how to use Patreon. I'm going to get some background images for Booty up as well, so some wallpapers and things like that.
I'll look forward to that.
Extra bits.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. So what are the most voted on hypotheticals for today?
What were they? They were number 1 and number 2 and number 3.
2 and 3 were the winners. Okay. Well, number 2 first. So we'll start with that one, I guess.
I added a little bit onto this as well after the question was posited to the Patreons. The last bit I thought was funny to add, but Ross.
Okay, and option number 2 is a chimpanzee is as intelligent and mentally active as a human toddler. Why are toddlers considered people when chimpanzees are not? Should chimpanzees be considered people? If not, should toddler be considered people?
Is that the bit you added?
Yeah, I was like, if they're the same, and you think that toddlers, that chimpanzees shouldn't be considered people, then do you also consider toddlers that not to be considered people?
So toddlers can grow.
Perfectly phrased.
They can grow into people.
Yeah.
Right. Obviously, in their current state as a toddler, I wouldn't say it's an active member of society in that regard.
Chimps or toddlers?
A toddler. Like a toddler's not like.
If somebody gave you the choice right now, you could either have a trained toddler or a trained chimpanzee in your home for a week. Which would you go for?
Chimpanzee.
Well, yeah, but the first thing I think of is the chimpanzee audio. In fact, not the video. Right. Audio of him tearing and attacking someone's face.
Was that a chimp or an ape?
I think it was a chimpanzee.
Wait, hold on,
it was a pet chimpanzee, but it was old.
Is this chimpanzee?
A chimpanzee is an intelligent, Yeah,
chimpanzees are pretty dangerous.
They can rip your face off and eat you.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, I'm sure a toddler could do the same if it was so inclined. Maybe they could take but obviously you could probably knock them down.
Okay, baby chimp.
Cage them.
A baby chimp.
Baby chimp. Yeah.
Yeah,
but your whole argument is like the intelligence of the chimpanzee.
A very early developing baby chimp. So you don't have to compete with the fact that the chimpanzee is like 10 times stronger.
How old
than
is the chimpanzee?
A couple of weeks, months old.
So it is a baby chimp.
I feel like this is a can of worms question.
So right, let's go back to the core of it.
Okay.
Chimps are really intelligent.
Yeah.
Should we give them more rights based on their intelligence?
Okay, that's a rephrasing.
I mean, that's essentially what we're saying here. Should they be considered a person? And a person is almost a right.
I mean,
okay.
I think we'd have to.
Animals in general should have rights to a certain degree. Like,
and they do. And they do.
Be,
protected.
Yeah, they should be protected in some
They are
ways.
very much like in our human society treated as pets, right? Yeah. As like a second class to us.
What, animals in general? Or?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
And
so not necessarily
chimpanzees,
pets.
Like the animal kingdom is like secondary to us. Right,
you can see.
We are
perceived
in terms of
as such.
There's no benefit to our economy, blah blah blah, other than zoos, which is like, look at that lion. There's no like, you don't put lions in like an office job, for example. You're not vying for a job interview against to dictate this role in like a milk head up against a penguin.
A lot of job roles which animals could take over quite comfortably.
Such as?
Like octopus have many tentacles and could probably multitask quite well if they're like, I don't know, if there's a load of like handles.
I think you're thinking very Pixar with that.
I am thinking
very
animated.
Disney-esque.
I'm picturing it.
So
now.
A job that has numerous levers,
funny voice as well.
Octopus can't speak.
Large eyes, a smile on his beak.
What would you imagine?
Utopia recently, I
haven't seen it recently.
Okay.
What would you imagine?
I saw Marmaduke
an octopus
recently. Dog Day.
Okay.
Huh?
Marmaduke.
You saw Marmaduke?
Yeah, Marmaduke, which was...
You watched it on your own?
It was just on in the background. I was like, I've never seen this before. It's got, who's the dude? Lee Pace.
Oh, yeah.
He's the dad in it.
Right, okay.
Yeah. And it's voiced by Owen Wilson.
Oh, so, Marmaduke.
And then when that finished, I then flicked over to the other channel.
Yeah.
And it was, what was the other one? It was another dog film, but the dog, like, died.
Marley and Me.
And Marley, yeah. And he was in that as well. Owen Wilson.
Oh yeah, it's him.
I was like, what the fuck? This guy is dominant in the dog film scene.
Wow. Yeah. I'm really reassuring and you know.
Oh my god, the dog's dead.
Oh no, not another one.
No.
At this point, I'm starting to ask whether it's me that's doing this to the dogs.
Yeah. No, but it was very depressing.
Why is Owen Wilson killing so many dogs?
I don't know.
That's what I want to know.
Marmaduke didn't die.
Marmaduke.
It was saved.
He voices Marmaduke.
He is Marmaduke.
Well, Marmaduke will eventually die, and he'll be Marmaduke.
It's an animation.
So that's not Babadook.
Anyway,
that's not Babadook. Different again, not an animal. But yeah. No.
So when are we giving chimps baby rights?
Okay, so baby rights aren't
up to a point.
really rights.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's be honest. Like,
they need a parent.
The interest of the baby is kind of in the parent's hands, right?
Mm-hmm. And so it's a toddler. This one. So toddler. So we're thinking like what, 2-year-old?
But you're saying baby chimpanzee.
Toddler chimpanzee.
Have the same rights.
Do they both toddle? I think they're both pretty like the
toddling about.
Chimps like are pretty acrobatic.
I think we treat a chimpanzee like we would a toddler anyway. It's not like we're going to give them a job or like, I don't know.
If you saw a caged toddler or a toddler that's being eaten for bushmeat,
that's brutal, isn't it?
Or a toddler that's being sold to Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Like,
I think that's happened.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Well, he's dead now.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
So they shouldn't be treated as pets or.
But I'm saying, would you do that? So you wouldn't do any of those things to a toddler, to clarify? You wouldn't cage it, eat it, sell it to Michael Jackson?
Well, no, because I'd have to deal with the parents.
I've never had a toddler, but caging it sounds like it might be a fairly acceptable thing. You know, they have the not like
playpens,
like a pen.
Yeah, ultimately we do that.
Not like
anyway,
a kind of like a.
Okay,
you're
so
in a cage
okay with caging
tomorrow.
a chimp, right? Okay, so that's fine. So the other two options on the table.
Good, and
I wouldn't
for
eat
our
it.
benefit.
You wouldn't eat the toddler.
I wouldn't eat the chimpanzee either.
No. Okay.
No.
What if it's the only form of meat that day? Because a lot of the times in places where it's eating its bushmeat, people go into the jungle or the forest or wherever the hell they're hunting these chimps, and they will get protein, right? They want meat. They don't really care what it is. They'll shoot this object in the forest. They'll go and pick it up, take it back, cut it up and cook it.
So is that our situation?
You wouldn't do that with a chimp, I'm guessing.
I wouldn't do that with a chimp now because that's not my situation.
I wouldn't do that with most animals.
However, I'm sure in a desperate situation you do all sorts of crazy shit to each other.
Would you eat a toddler?
There are tribes I heard of which would when they die they eat the person who died.
God,
as like as a spiritual thing. So then as soon as they die they all then just start like cutting up and eating it.
Well,
as soon as they die they don't even cook it.
I don't know if they cook it. No.
Is it like a ceremonial bite, or is it like a thing? Yeah. But I mean, do they have to eat the whole thing? I think
it's eating it. Yeah.
Full
the
course.
whole.
There's a name for it. There's like I think it's one
cannibalism.
That's it's cannibalism, but the tribe is a specific name. I can't remember what it's called now, but they're still an active tribe. They're being kind of driven out by
all the crazy prions in their brains.
Yeah.
So we're not going to eat the toddler.
No.
We're not going to. But we are going to cage it.
We'll cage the toddler.
Would we sell it to Michael Jackson?
For its own safety.
Well, should we cage it with the chimpanzee?
Oh. No, that's why.
That's like bug fights.
That's why chimpanzees would have like a bigger, more ominous-looking cage, right? It's because they're stronger than a toddler.
Yeah.
So it's in our best interests to have a chimpanzee in a more reinforced cage than a toddler because they're pathetic
and weak. So in a fight, the toddler's going to lose.
So we're saying just because the thing is as intelligent as a toddler, it does not mean it's treated the same as a toddler. That's what we're saying here, right?
Not necessarily.
It's still a chimp.
It's got different physical, biological makeup which have to be
considered. That's true.
Yeah.
Chimpanzees in captivity are probably treated well in that regard.
What, in all forms of captivity?
Not all
probably
forms,
not all
but
forms,
neither are toddlers.
It's everywhere, isn't it? Yeah, that's a good point.
So,
brutality. Everywhere.
I feel like the question is phrased around, if we were just to have chimpanzees
Pigs
having toddler rights in our modern society, would we allow it, and therefore would stop putting chimpanzees in zoos and stuff? Is that basically what you mean?
But we know toddlers
take them out of the animal kingdom.
Grow up. That's the other difference.
What if they don't? What if they like Benjamin Button? Go backwards.
How many cases of Benjamin Button people?
Well, at least one.
How do we know of any?
At least one.
I'm curious.
Well, it's enough to make a movie
about. It's a curious case of Benjamin Button.
It's curious.
It's all curious.
It's extremely.
He started as an old man and grew young.
Yeah,
that's
some babies
up.
come
That's
out
an
pretty
amazing
wrinkly,
premise.
right? Pretty old and wrinkly.
Yeah, but some babies look like old men, which I think is kind of like maybe that's where the idea came from. They're like, oh, that looks like an old man. Are you sure it's not?
Oh,
I'll never live to see it grow young.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't know.
Exactly.
That's a good point.
Check your children. If you have a child, check now and then on old men.
Now for Benjamin.
If they're out the back smoking or something, it's just like.
Is that how they did it? Like he had old habits as well as old like.
Immediately gonna like loads of old man habits.
Hey,
they're reading the Daily Mail and smoking a cigar, just
trying to get on the bus.
What the fuck is this?
I've shit my pants again.
He's being racist out the back. What's that about?
He's talking about how we shouldn't have heating anyway.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a correlation and a can of worms situation with this question because there's a certain point in all animals where they are the intelligence of a human at a certain age.
Yeah.
Not all animals.
All of them.
No.
Some smart.
Oh, what you mean
level.
like when you're an unthinking fetus, you're about the same as like a snail or less than a snail.
Yeah. So should we give all animals the same rights as a human at that stage of life?
Well, Trott, what you've done here is you segued into the abortion debate.
I don't know if I want to get into it, to be honest, but I'm just showing how kind of absurd the whole abortion thing is.
How do you feel when you kill a spider? Do you kill spiders?
I don't like killing spiders because they keep all of the things that I really hate away, like mosquitoes.
I don't, but I've got an infestation of spiders.
Have you?
I've had loads recently, and like
it's all the rain.
The thing is, like, I have no control over my dog in the sense that he will kill those spiders.
Does he eat them?
No, he just pushes his nose against them on the floor because he's trying to sniff them, and he's like, He's like really confused. He's like, Then he moves on. Doesn't eat it, smushes it on the floor. Well, he'll chase it because it's like obviously scurrying around. He's like, oh fuck, what the fuck is that? Oh, look at that, it's moving. And then bunk. Like, okay. So it saves one thing of me just having to wake up with spiders on me.
It's accidental, but
I did the other day.
Is it accidental because you know he's going to clumsily kill?
I leave him to it.
That's
but
the thing.
I'm not going to chase the spider and hit it. No,
it's off you.
But I'd rather get the spider with like a cup or something and toss it outside. Normally off the balcony.
But if Murphy was messing around with it, you wouldn't intervene and get a cut.
I have stopped him. Yeah,
you have.
I have stopped him before, but recently, 2 this week, he has nosed them against something.
2 already.
Do you get a kick out of it?
There's quite a few. Yeah,
Nothing
those
lives
are big bastards. Those are big bastards as well. Well, I say big, not big in the sense of like Australian big fucking huntsman, but like big as in
spot in the corner of your eye.
Yeah, like larger than an old 50 pence.
They got decent body to them, or they like?
This is the thing. You can almost see their eyes. You can see their eyes in the glow of light. It's like,
so a common house spider.
And he's talked to me.
That's interesting. What does he talk about?
He normally talks about the geopolitical situation.
Does he?
And he fucking really annoyed.
Until the dog comes over and boots him.
I was like, really? Yeah, the Ukraine thing's awful. It's fucking. Oh, he's dead.
Oh no.
Murphy, he was talking to me.
That's very rude. Yeah.
Jealousy.
That's what that is. He doesn't even eat him. You at least eat him.
At least eat the bloody spider.
Bloody hell, get the protein.
Do you think Murphy's smart enough to learn the whole like button grid?
Yeah.
For communication.
If I could spend the time to do it, the fact that I managed to teach him anything is
a miracle.
Well, no, it's not a miracle. It's the fact that like it just took a lot of patience and time.
Yeah, it's a lot of patience
to get him to understand signals and like specific movements and words. It's like, you could teach him that stuff, but you just have to have patience yourself. And I'm at a limit where I'm kind of happy not to spend all that time. Do anything else.
Yeah.
You can do scent training with him as well, which is quite fun to do. But yeah, I just don't have that patience myself.
Yeah. I think Mochi's not capable.
I'm sure you can teach a lot of animals.
Straight up.
Really?
I don't think Mochi's capable of it. Bless her.
She's learned a lot of little tricks.
She's
learned a lot of little tricks in a very like condensed environment.
Right.
So for example, I've been teaching her recently to boop a button which rings a doorbell when she needs to go outside and pee.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
She only understands pressing that button when I stand in a certain position and I'm looking at the button and she's stood slightly in the right place. Otherwise, it's all out of whack. She's like,
really?
Oh, I'm stood over here, so I don't understand what the hell you're saying. Also, you're not quite in your spot, so I'm just gonna shit here. Actually, so it's very like circumstantial, and like outside of that, she's not smart. She doesn't like piece it together. It's like, oh, it's that. So I don't think the button grid would work.
But it's very...
I don't know. It depends, because there are certain things that I've not taught him, but he's learnt just through patterns of things. So if I like have dinner ready, normally I want him to go into his bed and just chill out, so he's not like hounding me for food and stuff. And like he now associates the sound of me sprinkling salt. He goes to his bed immediately.
Oh, that's
as soon as
good.
he hears it, you suddenly hear him like scurry into his bed.
He
knows he'll get like a little treat just to chill him out. Because he knows that there's a reward at the end of that.
When it's food driven,
so that's the sound related to the reward. So like if you could create that reward system with button pressing and stuff. But
how much salt are you getting through?
That's normally just like that.
Everything?
No. But like,
so he doesn't get a treat every day?
No.
Oh, he must suck. He must love the sound of a salt.
But it depends, because he was always... It's best for him to go to bed, because otherwise he'll just sit next to us and try and get...
If it's in their best interest, they'll do it, especially when it's food related.
So...
But it's good that...
that's reward training.
Yours is like a smarter like C++ style coding language, whereas Mochi's running on assembly.
Right.
And if you delete one character, the whole thing shuts down. Yeah. There's like, you can't just jump from A to C. Yeah. She needs B in the middle. Definitely needs B in the middle.
I mean, it can all be undone easily as well, that's the thing. So you've got to be kind of on it.
Yeah.
Or like if you start using pepper instead of salt.
If I just used a shaker, which didn't even have any sound, you wouldn't even realise. So you wouldn't do it. But
that's it. The whole
command. If I give him a command, he'll do it.
Right.
But it's just that he's related a sound to something.
Yeah, no, totally. It's like dreamy packaging.
Or like if you open a specific packet, if you a packet sound related to that, they'll just rush to it. So
yeah, Ripley knew dreamies like day 2.
Yeah.
Like just the popping of a lid.
The reward is so good for him.
It's
like,
just instant.
I've got to be there for it. Yeah.
But I don't know if it's like an instant smell, scent gust, or like just an association that's like really strong immediately. Yeah. It's very interesting. Ripley's a totally different beast. Scratched my face this morning.
Not in a visible way, though.
It's like a little,
very light,
like raised bumps.
Blood
all over my face.
Was it an accidental kind of like or was it? Kind of like
she's just trying to be. Like I'm petting her and she's being very snuggly, and she's like, she likes to pat your face.
Oh, okay.
And sometimes she stretches and her claws come out.
Yeah. Do they get stuck out sometimes? Because I know there's some cats where they get caught or like stuck.
I've not noticed it. But she just doesn't know her own boundaries at the moment. She's just like, I don't realise that hurts you. I'm just stretching my hand and that feels good.
How easy is it to train a cat in such a way? They're just coming in and out and stuff of house, like some of the outdoor cats. Like could you train it to do tricks, do you think?
I think
the dreamy packet, like that as a reward?
We're harness training her at the moment, and that's going fine. Yeah. I think it's possible. It's just a different approach. Yeah. Because cats have different agendas.
They're independent. They want to do their own thing.
Yeah, and they're not like, I will do anything for you. I will die for you, like a dog. Yeah. Cats are like, I don't fancy being pet right now. I'm just going to leave. And so they're pretty cold in that way. It's like, I thought we were getting on. Yeah. You know, no.
I can't read you, cat. Yeah. I can't read you.
But she'll chill out.
Why don't you love me, cat?
Danny Kravik. Cat. Right, well, I think we put that one to bed.
Would you have a chimpanzee as a pet if you could? Chimpanzee as a pet?
I wouldn't have a toddler either, though. I'd put them in a cage and make them fight like one of those Japanese bug fighting videos.
You would do that.
Yeah.
You would go for the toddler.
I'd go full-size chimp as well, speed things up.
Really, that really would.
So you have a bias.
They probably wouldn't attack. If they were well trained, they wouldn't attack. Unless you're training them to attack, in which case it's like a dogfight scenario where...
I'd train the toddler, arm the toddler, put a wild chimp in, see what happens.
You give it a toddler a gun.
I give a toddler a mech suit, a small mech suit, to try and.
What about you against a wild chimp? Do you think you?
I would take
in a room the same size as this room.
Can I have a spear?
You can just have your fists.
You're only allowed to like rummage together.
Do you think you could kill it with your fists?
No.
They're strong.
I know they are.
They're big. They're also just like so rampant and like kind of like.
Yeah. Oh god, instant face eating. Like straight away, my face starts.
That's it. Savage. That. They tore the face of that woman
straight off, like peeled it back like the top of a yogurt lid,
like American Psycho. Wore the face,
and then the chimp wore it and tried to pretend to be a member of the village.
Wore her clothes, and had a couple of PG tips in his hand.
Yeah, for 6 months it lived as her in the small townstead in America.
Exactly, and it took them 6 months to realise.
The pyramid teabag. Which is always a silver lining.
Exactly. When they shot him, we were like, no, he's an inventor of the teabag. You shot him. It's because he was puppeteering Weekend at Bernie's his owner.
Yeah,
so,
who hadn't got a face anymore.
Exactly. It's a bad situation for everyone.
Complicated face ripping sort of.
I want a raccoon as a pet though.
I know. Did you see that thing on Reddit today of all the raccoons grasping up underneath the decking?
Yes. Well, we'll get the grapes.
Yeah.
There was a guy feeding. So basically, there was a video on. It was like a 20-minute video of this guy just feeding grapes to raccoons. It's great.
You could definitely have a raccoon as a pet if you lived in the States.
I think so. You probably could, but like,
you wouldn't want one.
Are they vicious? Do they get? I guess is it hard to tame them?
I think they're just little shits.
So adorable. Though.
Yeah, I think they're little bastards.
They rummage through shit and they tear shit up and they just don't understand boundaries.
But with reward training, maybe from a very young age.
Maybe.
Let's get a baby one. Let's import one.
Yeah.
I'll try.
I don't know if we should.
No.
Import a raccoon.
No. It seems to be a major problem in the US. Like they have a lot of them.
What about a possum?
Like, so a possum. Oh God,
Christ!
No.
They're worse.
It's horrible looking creatures.
Possum, but the raccoons look chill.
Yeah.
They look funny.
But then our badgers look nice.
These little grabby hands.
Would you have a badger as a pet?
No,
terrifying.
No, badger. No.
Exactly, and they are essentially their version of a more dexterous badger.
What about badger versus chimpanzee? Who would win?
Ooh, chimpanzee every time. There's so few. I think chimp versus lion. The lion might win.
Yeah,
the lion's gonna win against
if it catches his arm, it's gonna rip it off.
Right, a chimp is like something like 5 to 10 times stronger than the average human male.
Yeah, but a lion's jaw would just break its neck.
Yeah, but what if the chimp outsmarted him?
Well, maybe if it starts riding him, tames him.
Yeah, then we're really in trouble.
We witnessed a chimp
Planet of the Apes situation.
What about
he tamed him? He's taming a lion.
No.
Okay, let's take the strongest, most athletic person in the human race.
Yeah.
Versus a lion. Is that like your average
Dwayne
chimp?
The Rock Johnson.
Is that your average chimp? They're smart enough.
Yeah.
To be as smart as the smartest chimp ever.
Yeah.
Also, they're fast and strong enough to be the average chimp. Would a human beat a lion?
God,
no. So I don't think a chimp would.
But chimps are stronger than human beings. This is what
my question.
They might have less rationale as well in terms of
so even the strongest, fittest human is not as strong as the average chimp. That's what I'm saying.
By how much though?
By a significant margin.
Slightly bigger weights in the gym.
They have different genetic makeup. Their muscles are like.
How many chin-ups can they do?
How many chin-ups can a chimp do?
They could do fucking shit.
There must be loads of chimp-ups.
Their arms are massive.
Yeah, and they're kind of specialised for that kind of thing as well.
They can do it with their feet, upside down.
Chimp-ups. Yeah. What they can do is they put their feet on the bottom bar and their hands on the top bar, and then they just drag the equipment up towards them, and then do a chimp-up.
How big do you think a chimp is?
About the size of you.
They can be quite big.
Are you not talking about a gorilla or
talking about chimpanzee? No, seriously though, I know a lot of people don't realize they're strong, much stronger than us. Like I know they're not like physically as big as say Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Yeah.
But they are stronger because of the way that their muscles, like their muscle. I think it's their muscle fibers are slightly different or something like that. But they're much stronger than us.
Was it you sent me that video of a monkey kind of like jerking itself off and like squeezing its dick like a froob and then just eating it?
Oh my god!
I probably sent you the video of them using a frog like a sex toy. Was he using the frog like a sex toy? Yeah,
poor frog, man. Was alive for a bit.
Poor frog.
But there was the one where the monkey was just like tugging its thing, like it was translating, like a little mushroom.
That one.
And then it just.
Oh, that is disgusting.
Like a little froob.
You know that human beings have the largest penises of all primates.
I know.
We've got bigger.
Speak for yourself.
Oh right.
Do we really?
I didn't know.
Yeah, we've got the biggest.
Proportionally?
Yeah, proportionally to like all other primates, human beings have the biggest penis.
Tiny chodes.
Should we just go and brag?
Nah.
Go to the local zoo.
They tell you
what you here for? Way to get your dick ripped off really fast. Have you seen the videos where like people have walked past chimp enclosures and had themselves pulled right up to the like, grill and stuff like that? How strong those chimps are. Like, and they're not even trying. They're just like, and the people are just like,
please no, don't kill me. I have a family.
On my face. You know, straight there, yogurt pot. Muller yogurt pot lid, just straight off.
Guy's just holding onto the muscles on his face.
What's the next hypothetical?
It's good that you asked.
We've clearly put that one to bed.
Decided to.
It was something to do with. Is there something? We could just wait if you want, but it's something like. Is there a creative concept that even the most creative mind could not think of? I think is the question.
Creative concept.
It says, is there anything the most creatively minded human could not imagine?
Yeah.
And I think yes is the simple answer.
Could not imagine.
Are
we not just like algorithmic almost in our?
Oh, right. As in like there's stuff that you can't imagine.
Yeah.
Is that the question?
Yeah, I think it's difficult for us to imagine things like an extra dimension of space-time, imagine something like that. But
like when someone says like fourth dimension or whatever.
Yeah.
There's a limit to our biology, right? To how much we can imagine. Like, and also we can't imagine in a certain spectrum of light, for example. There's a lot of the universe we can't even see or process.
So is there anything that we can? Yeah, absolutely. So yes, basically the easy answer to this question is yes.
Absolutely yes. There's so much we can't fathom.
So we couldn't imagine a shape that isn't either 2D or 3D, right? Try and think of a thing that is.
Do you think we could eventually, though? Are we talking about, like, if we had infinite time, would we eventually imagine everything?
I guess that's the
only
idea.
To the limits of our. I guess I don't know, because obviously you can be as creative as you want with conceptual ideas, but it's just we don't know what everything is to imagine everything.
Exactly.
So it's like an impossible kind of.
Imagine every other form of potential life in the universe.
I can't.
We can't, right?
I don't.
Oh no, I've just done it.
He's just done it.
Galaxy brain.
Oh, he just did it.
What about different phrasing? Picture every creature in the universe.
I've got aphantasia.
I can't picture. What am I picturing? Just stars.
He's just going through all the different Stellaris races.
Honestly, it's hilarious you thought of that, because I was literally going to answer this in the same way. I was like,
Mushroom Man.
With all big futurology questions, I like to fall back on the same thing. Stellaris, a fantastic game. And in that, your species, Stellaris is like a sci-fi civ, where essentially you develop a civilization over thousands of years. It's a really good game. And in that, they have this kind of thing where basically people, like your civilization has a transcendental leap of thinking, where basically you go from limitations of the context of your existence to all of your species has worked out how to sort of like almost, and another great thing I always fall back on, Stargate, they have this as well, Ascension, right? The idea of ascension into beings that transcend their physical forms, right? Which is a little difficult to imagine, because it seems as though our physical forms are very much very physical. Even our minds and our consciousnesses, which are like the most complex thing for us to fathom, seemingly are biological computers in a way. I mean, essentially our thought processes are the result of chemical processes, right? I know it's probably more complicated than that. I'm not a neuroscientist, and I know that neuroscience still hasn't got that far yet, but ultimately, we've got a rough idea of how things work. So it's hard to imagine ascending to a point where we can still be us and leave our physical forms beyond that, of which things like uploading ourselves to computers and things like that. But I think that ultimately, like you say, eventually one day you could potentially get to the point where we could imagine a new methodology of experiencing our existence, or experiencing the world, or experiencing the universe. This whole like seeing the fourth dimension, the fifth dimension. Dr. Manhattaning it, yeah, exactly. Just not obeying the laws of our existence that we currently live by. Like, for example, not stealing. No, that's not what I mean. But you know what I mean.
Well, like Ashton Kutcher in Butterfly Effect.
Yeah, exactly. Or
but he got nosebleeds every time. Basically, had like aneurysms every time.
The nosebleed is such an evocative thing, isn't it? Because we don't really get nosebleeds very much. But like, the blood from the ears.
Blood from the ears. Blood from the eyes.
Yeah.
It's just like your brain is over-processing, so your cartilage is breaking.
Yeah. Exactly, that's the thing. Like, your nose and your ears aren't actually connected to your brain, as far as I'm aware. So, like, why blood would come from there?
I'm pretty sure everything's connected to the brain.
It's all in some fashion.
Yeah, not like there's not like arterial like pathway. Maybe there is.
I wouldn't know.
For sure.
Well, because the Egyptians
you can't imagine a new colour.
Done it.
What colour is it? We wouldn't know.
You can't tell.
I couldn't tell.
It's somewhere
we can't disprove it.
It's somewhere between
there's
purple.
no disproving it. You could imagine what you want, and it's like, I have no idea. I don't know what your imagination looks like. The same my imagination. Trott says you can't picture things. I don't know. Maybe you can, but in certain ways I can't.
This is what's so interesting.
Maybe the voice in my head.
I wish I'd listened more in philosophy.
Right.
Because perception is
philosophy.
Perception is such a huge part of like the theory of perception.
I think
how we perceive
would drive
things.
me into an existential.
It is one of those almost like endless things. Yeah.
It's like there are no answers to any of these questions, just questions.
Yeah. or your own answers, I'd say, is probably the best way to think about it.
Building up just this really high apathy towards everything.
Yeah, well,
What's that Greek philosopher that just got drunk and observed everyone as if they were just chess pieces? Well, on a predetermined.
Solipsism solipsism is this idea that you are basically the only one in your existence, and everything else around you is a figment of your own imagination or your own creation. But that's always touted as...
It's a worrying way to think of things. Well, if everyone thought like that, you'd probably have a lot more... It's
used as a cautionary tale for philosophers, saying what you're saying, where how do you not slip into apathy, or it's often seen as the problem with philosophers, especially when discussing perception and things like that, is how do you not slip into this idea of you are the only one that really matters, because the only thing, the whole I think therefore I am, that came from the idea of the only provable truth, right? The only thing that you can actually say is real is you right now.
The things you experience.
You know yourself.
Like why flat earthers exist.
Yeah,
they
exactly.
Just feel I wouldn't know. I've never been to space. The moon landing's fake because I've not been there myself. So,
I can kind of. Tough. There's a whole rabbit hole of thinking that we are just a segment of the universe observing itself.
Yeah.
Which gets fucking deep.
Yeah.
In the sense that why am I just... Okay, this is International Dogs Day, so maybe we shouldn't go too deep with this. But
what do dogs think about?
What do dogs think, and why are they observing the universe in the form of a dog?
Half my time thinking, what the fuck is he thinking?
Yeah.
He sat there just looking at me, just with his eyes just kind of looking up and looking around. Occasionally,
do you care about anything?
What are you thinking? Are you thinking about just eating food?
Yeah. But are they?
He doesn't hump
very often. Are they processing that
maybe
as a sentence in their mind, or just a instinct?
I think it's
what is it?
It'd be so nice to know, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it's base level instinct. It has to be just of I want food. That's where the food is kept over there, so I'm going to sit over there. Give me the food.
But yeah,
give me the food. I'm going to go sleep now, so I'm going to sleep over there. And he just sleeps.
Yeah,
just very basic, a very simple life,
living in the present.
Is enviable. Just
the ultimate present living, not future thinking or past thinking. It's just in the moment. But
enough to learn patterns.
Yeah, they still
and behaviors in that sense. But no concept. It's like when there was a joke or something that some comedian did the other day about people talking to their dogs proactively in parks and stuff. Oh, you shouldn't be doing that. That's not your stick. And it's just they're never going to respond. That means nothing to them.
It's more for the owner.
You're just saying that just out loud, which is almost craziness to a degree. But command wise, sure, stop, drop it, leave it, good boy.
Again, I think it's just different understandings of how dogs work, and owners that don't understand that.
It's kind of a friendly-ish kind of vibe. Half the time, it's performative.
Tone.
It's almost performative for people around, just to be I'm trying to do something.
Yeah,
with
I'm
my
making
dog.
sure this dog doesn't get this stick.
Yeah.
I think you're developing it as well yourself. They say that speaking to yourself is actually quite a healthy trait, right? The people who talk to themselves.
I should probably look at it.
It's considered, relatively.
To what kind of degree, though? Do you reckon, full in-depth conversations with yourself, or kind of
Alex Smith exits the room confidently.
He stumbles as he hits a plank on the way out. Exclaims, "Fuck!"
He forgot his wallet. He must return back to his house.
Yeah,
at once.
No, I mean, because I definitely talk to my lizards. With nobody else around.
What do you think about Boris Johnson?
That isn't for me. Yeah, I don't ask him.
It's going through your head about this shit.
Yeah.
What should I vote for?
What are you doing? What do you think we should do? Should I fix the interest rate or what? Yes, but I think that also develops your. It's quite selfish, really. Because essentially, if I never did that,
talking to yourself.
When you talk to an animal in a way that's more than they'll understand, right? Essentially what you're saying. I know you're right. In parks and in public settings, it's slightly different because you want to try and communicate passively to other people. Oh, sorry, I know that this is probably a bit annoying, kind of thing. But when you're on your own, directly talking to an animal in a way that you would talk, you project your feelings or your understanding of what's going on in a more humanistic way, and what that does is it makes you love the animal more ultimately, doesn't it?
Because you create a persona for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Your personality is being added to them, that they're understanding you in a way.
Exactly, and you're doing that because it gives you more enjoyment out of that interaction with that animal. There are plenty of reptile owners online, especially, who just collect them like freaking Pokemon. They'll have walls of these things. They'll have like 60 different kinds of whatever.
Yeah.
And like, there is no way that, like, they're excited to have it. They may look after the animal well. I'm not saying they're not looking after the animal. What I'm saying is, like, they're not getting the same thing out of it. When that animal dies, they'll be upset, probably, they'll be sad, but I don't think they would quite have the same experience as a person who would have a dog or something like that. It has a much closer emotive relationship with that creature. And it just, I don't know, it's just enriching. It's just a nice thing to have in your life, I guess, that you feel more attached to something. You flex those emotional muscles that you have within yourself.
Social as well.
Yeah.
People do that with objects.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
Humanized objects will be like, that's a cute thing, and it's got like a little face or a personality.
Some people talk
like
to dogs in a very weird way, though. Like a very kind of very strange voice.
Like a toddler.
Like an odd. Yeah, I guess it works. I guess it's almost just like they're a cutesy little kind of like, they're a little kid, essentially, right? In terms of age, so they're just like a 2-year-old.
I think it's also tone. Dogs like a certain tone.
It's a bit extreme.
Yeah. Yeah, I instantly want to go on a murdering spree.
Oh, come on, that's not
that kind of tone.
But at the same time,
dogs love
you couldn't speak to it in the same level. Yeah, they love high pitch. When they're younger, they
but do
suggest for training you need to talk in a higher register.
Do you reckon if I got a new dog, and from puppy to current day, I only spoke positively at it in a very aggressive way?
Right.
And I treated,
hold on, you little fuck!
Right.
But I treated them for it.
Good
and
fucking
everything positive that ever happens is received with like, fuck you! Constantly. Do you think the dog would be wagging its tail and be really happy?
Yeah, it's association and reward. But if you're rewarding it at the same time, they're like, oh fuck, he's getting angry again. Yeah. Come on then. Oh, my tail's wagging, they're going crazy for it.
Yes, get fucking nuts.
It's a perception thing, but
do you think there's also just an instinctive evolutionary trait of like loud, like harsh noises being a threat as well?
Loud noises excite my dog in general. Like,
but if it's like barking or like aggressive,
if it's like super like aggressive, I think it would be intimidating perhaps.
But if
they got used to it to a point where that was literally a positive experience for them, you're giving them a treat for
that'd be dangerous, wouldn't it?
That would be a strange, but then it's almost like kind of training them for
desensitizing.
Training them to run out in front of cars. You know, train them to like chase foxes. Like it's just conditioning, isn't it? I mean, we could all be conditioned that way. It's like when you hear people talk with each other in certain, like, different families speak to each other in different ways. You know, like that kind of thing. Like,
for sure.
You know, so like, yeah, it is. It's just conditioning.
There was an article about dogs crying the other day. I don't know if you read it.
You said about it briefly.
Yeah, dogs apparently they cry. Oh, here we go. Dogs can cry when owners come home. I don't know whether that's
like weep with joy.
Yeah, it's a joyful cry. It's not like a kind of like a sad cry. And then it's like enhances the bond between the owner and the dog.
When you drink the tears,
do you have to drink the tears?
Right.
You put them in a small vial, sip the tears. You share your tears with the bond, and then the bond is formed. But you know, I think that's. I mean, dogs react like they go crazy when you come back home. Like,
she goes nuts.
Like Murphy can't control himself. His ass wiggles so much because he's just trying to. But I've trained him to stay.
Is that because they think you abandon them every day? Is that why?
Sorry?
I read that's because they think that you've like basically left them every day. Like the reason they get so excited when you return.
It must be something to do that.
Because they exist within a... go for a piss and then return back to the room I was in.
Right, okay.
Aware that I'm just in the toilet.
Right.
She's just like, oh my God, I get to see you again? Amazing.
And also maybe there's an effect of, this is the person that feeds me, this is the person you relate positive things to. So it's like, you're back.
Good things happen around this person, I guess. Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, bloody dogs are great, aren't they?
Bloody
I don't know how
dogs.
we got back to dogs again. It was Dog Day. That's why.
Dog Day.
International Dog Day.
We didn't really fully answer the simple answer for the last question was just yes.
Yes.
A very simple one.
Because we are limited by our physiological and biological makeup, we can't possibly imagine everything possible.
Yes.
Everything creatively possible. Everything is impossible.
Well, good job we've got AI to do that for us now.
It's going to do all the thinking, and then we go, I would never have thought of that.
Human shit.
Not if the AI start making stuff.
Well, if the AI start making stuff, it's still based on, I guess.
But aren't all human beings art based on previous art that's come before them?
Yeah, for sure. That's what I'm saying. There's a limit.
What do you think will be like the digital LSD for AI?
For AI? Oh,
just giving it like a virus that fucking trips it out.
Oh, that's an interesting question.
Drugs for computers.
I guess you'd have to understand the action through which LSD affects the brain to then affect the AI brain in a similar way. I guess it disrupts the normal processes.
It would just have to,
It's got to send the data to the wrong place.
So that is interesting.
Or block it.
I mean, I'm not sure what effect you would expect to get from something like that.
And also, I'm sure AI on hallucinogenics.
Oh my god!
About perception, I'm sure each person's perception on something like that is
different,
slightly different. Yeah.
It's all reflections. It's fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah.
Bloody fascinating. All reflections of that person's experiences and the way that they input and output data.
And it's all just the universe observing itself.
Yeah. We've all just come into existence because certain particles we think came together.
Why are we experiencing it as individuals having their own isolated experiences? Why not? Is it just a shared mind?
What if we discovered millions of years later that we were in a hive mind? We just didn't quite connect those dots.
We didn't unlock it.
Individual
this
heads.
really bothers me. Yeah, that bothers me a lot. Like, no, honestly,
really?
like, yeah, this kind of like, I was thinking about
we are
this.
a hive mind in a way, but we just aren't knowledgeable because obviously that would be detrimental to the hive mind if we knew that we were a hive mind.
I literally had this thought this morning, right? I was like,
this morning.
Not necessarily the hive mind thing, but like thinking about like, what haven't I considered that I need to consider, you know, basically. And one of the thoughts I had was like, I've had a lot of like good fortune in this life as Alex Smith so far, I think, and there's a few challenges, and some of those challenges are, you know, they're a lot sometimes, and is that something like, I always think like, imagine if after you pop your clogs, you go into like a room. I mean, to be clear, I as far as I can tell, what happens to you is you know, degrade and go back into the soil and become part of the big cycle of nature again. That's what I think. But what if instead you go into like a review room after your life, right? And you
This is God at the pearly gates.
It's an analogy for that. Ultimately, it's like, and they've gone, oh yeah, look, you had this life, it was pretty damn good, and then you had these challenges. Like, let's look at how you dealt with those, you know, and like what you made of them, how you took them on, and what that says about you and your character, you know, like, as in like it's. What if there is this like challenge, or the challenges in your life are like, you know, they are the challenges for you to grapple with and try and make a better attempt at. And I think that what is made even more interesting when you think about the idea of reincarnation, and you're like, what if, you know, you're given the option before you go.
Try again as a dung beetle, mate. Good luck.
Exactly. What if you're given a choice where it's like, hey, you can be a dog for 13, 14 years. You've gone through a life now. You're not going to remember your previous life, but you're
not really optimizing the human experience.
Why not try living as a dog for 14 years? You know, you get a shorter life, but it's much simpler and possibly much happier. Do you want to give that a go? You know, like, I think that would be, and this is what I was thinking about this morning. But like,
so there's a point when you die where you get to experience everything you've ever done, like all these different lives, and take and then decide how you want to roll this time, you know, how you want to roll your character. Like, I don't think we have that much control.
No,
personally, I think it'd be cool, it'd be interesting, but I think personally it's more if we are just universal experiences, like different sensory organs, essentially billions and trillions of them. I think it's just an evolutionary trait that the universe found out that having a wider bandwidth of experience is better than having a single consciousness that's trying to evolve. It's better to like just have trillions of them, and then whichever one's the best will win out in the end.
Are you saying that's come from like a grand design, or through not that grand design?
No.
So you're going to live in this, or do you think it's come from just a random result of combining things, and now this is where we are?
I don't fucking know. Fractals are nuts. Have you seen fractals?
But I mean, but they do make sense. Like all of those patterns within. There was actually, this was another hypothetical. Is like, do you think the universe is more a result of chaos or a result of order? Because ultimately, we wouldn't exist if certain rules weren't in place. If the rules of physics, or the standard model of physics, didn't work, then that's why it's going to change so much about our universe if our standard model of physics changes. You know, like if certain processes don't go on in your brain. I mean, I think personally we're just an accident. We're a happy accident. The fact that we can consider ourselves and have this conversation right now is the result of
order, bits
of particles and things, chaos coming together,
and in an orderly fashion.
And we just got lucky that it came together in an orderly fashion.
But species can communicate with each other in different ways. This is how we can communicate with each other, which is a very advanced form, especially in
we're all part
comparison
of the same
to the things
life,
that we're
the same process. We're all carbon-based.
Looking at the animal kingdom and stuff as well, like
exactly.
You know, they can communicate with each other in a certain way.
Yeah,
this is how we can communicate with each other, and happen to be at the top of that intelligence spectrum.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but you can't really explain it.
No.
And that's the mystery.
I think our ascension, right, if we're going back to Stellaris, is the ability to perceive time as non-linear. That would be the next step. It's like I can see all of time all at once, or just pick and shoot, like Interstellar style.
Yeah.
Like
it's like Arrival is actually where they dealt with that as well.
Arrival.
Right.
Oh, well, the universal time. I mean,
time is a worm.
Not sure if that's a spoiler. It's a good film. Watch
crazy.
Yeah, but I mean, it's an interesting, unfathomable thing, isn't it? And that's why we all need to die.
Yes, to keep
Not
that
now.
cycle going.
to
discover the unknown, because that's what we can't imagine. That's what they said. You can't even imagine. That's one thing you can't really imagine, is it? No one can imagine.
Biological life is like it's got an expiry
like.
point for a good reason, because it becomes stale and non-creative.
I mean, I want to live forever. Definitely, I would take that choice. Yes, I would live forever. However, currently we live within a series of cycles. Everything about our lives at all levels, as long as it's natural, as long as you're part of nature, we are of nature. Everything is part of a cycle, and as soon as those cycles stop, like we're seeing with climate change, like we're seeing with a lot of things, as soon as those cycles stop, then bad shit usually happens. As in, like, those cycles break down, and that means that they're no longer self-sustaining. That's if you kill too many spiders. If Murphy kills too many spiders, that life cycle that spiders are part of will start to break down. And we're so intrinsically linked that I think cycles need to maintain. I also think that the day that billionaires like Jeff Bezos work out how to live forever is going to be an awful day. Yeah. But anyway,
I don't think they will.
You don't think they'll ever work out a way?
That's the one thing I'm sure they would love to be able to buy. But
it's like Walt Disney froze himself, right?
Did he actually freeze himself?
Yeah, apparently.
But like, just in the off chance that if they defrost him, they can
work out a way to regenerate him.
Futurama style, yeah.
Because wasn't there there were some bodies that they found like at the top of mountains that are like thousands of years old, like mummified, obviously, but like still in a very
what was
clean
that?
Form.
There's a girl that was sacrificed.
Yeah, super gross.
Really gross.
But they're like pretty still preserved, even though they're very old.
They are physically preserved, but like,
of course, they're not like
the cells and stuff have all died, and there's nothing there.
That's the same as like freezing, I guess.
Yeah.
Does cryogenic freezing keep cells in place then? Is that what that's supposed to do?
Well, I think the problem with cryogenic freezing is that it makes cells expand, because obviously when you freeze things, they expand.
The moment you frost, you're just riddled with tumors.
Well, you're I mean, it's just, imagine all the blood vessels in your brain just expanding. That's probably not going to be a good experience.
Not going to be a functional experience.
But then one day we might be able to
reverse that.
Yeah, we might be able to use such an advanced AI that it can just from a tiny, tiny shred of information extrapolate a full consciousness again and somehow rebuild it. But then you got the question, well, I mean, is that still their consciousness, or is this a new one you've created that has all the inputs and outputs of a being of that age? Isn't it interesting?
It is.
I want to get to that time. That's why I want to live forever. I want to go see all this random shit. Yeah.
That's just us coming up with an option. What if we just were able to adjust time?
And would knowing about it make you any happier?
We don't need to rebuild you. We can just go back.
I guess is the other thing.
It would. Knowing things makes me happy.
But yeah, what if it just resulted in kind of like something that made you unhappy? Like
that's the risk you take, isn't it?
It's actually just more unhappiness around the corner.
And we were told this before we decided to roll humans in our character creation, but we still did it because that's the cost, right? That's the cost, and it sucks, but that sometimes is the cost of knowing is what comes with knowing.
It's all just chaos, actually. It's all just random.
And to be fair, you beat off like 1 billion sperm to get there. So.
Yeah, I know. Look at me now, Mum.
We're the strongest ones. We're on this planet. We made it. Not
necessarily the strongest, actually.
Well, we made it through, though. The rest's
Imagine what the other guys look like. You should have seen the other guys.
Yeah. Pathetic.
Yeah.
I've got the best sperm. There is a news story.
Go on then.
Well, there was a couple of news stories. One of them involved a guy. I mean, it was really rough, so I'm not going to go through the full article. But basically, there's a guy who was like dreaming. He fell asleep whilst chopping. Anyway, he cut off his cock and balls. Anyway.
Oh my god.
Yeah. It was really rough.
Is there a Henry Hoover picture?
This is a separate one.
Well, you misled us.
Do you want more? Do you want more of the cock and balls?
Yeah. What happened?
He actually chopped his testicles.
We are recording this, right? I didn't remember you started. Yeah, he started recording.
Yeah, no, I did it right at the beginning. Yeah.
God damn.
Half asleep man accidentally chops off his own testicles while dreaming that he was cutting meat for family meal. A farmer in Ghana suffered critical injuries after taking a knife to his scrotum whilst he was half asleep.
Wait, so we slept, walked, got a knife, and then chopped.
Yeah.
Claims he woke up to see his penis chopped off after dreaming he was
my God.
dreaming about slaughtering a goat. That's fucked. That's like next level. Like, you fucked yourself there. He woke in shock, as you would. I'm sure you would after the first swing. Oh no!
That would have been a hefty chop.
There is,
to like get it off first time.
Is he? Yeah, it doesn't really specify. Like, was he on a chopping board? Was it just?
Did they come right off, or is it just like a bit?
Well,
of a
I think it was more like a maiming. Yeah.
God damn.
Says it looks like he needs surgery. And he's doing a fundraiser to sort that out, but he's unsure. He's still unsure how he came to be holding a knife after dozing off in a chair. His wife was travelling at the time and was contacted by neighbours that he cut his penis and balls off.
Oh my God.
So he just found himself bleeding and holding his penis and rushed to get him a diaper to reduce blood flow.
It's a good shout.
Yeah.
Works as good impromptu padding.
So, just maybe keep the knives away if you're going to...
It's not another fear I need to add to the arsenal of fears of going to sleep and waking up with my balls and penis chopped off.
I know. Imagine if you just woke up and you just accidentally just like put toothpicks in your cock and balls. And you're just like, well, they were just on the bedside table, and I just suddenly just started jabbing my own genitalia.
How many toothpicks do you think it would take to wake you up?
One jab.
It wouldn't be a headshot.
Oh, fuck it. Oh my God.
Ow.
Almost.
I woke up the other day holding my own hand like this. Like,
all right, preventing it from
like doing something. That's what it felt like. I literally woke up like
you scoundrel,
and I was like this, and I was like, what?
Like it was possessed.
Doing? Yeah.
That is weird.
Then I went back to choking myself.
I went back to the choking wanking.
Oh, you fell asleep doing that because you were passing out.
Yeah.
It's probably that. Yeah.
How would you pronounce that? It's just
flagrant.
Flagrant. Vicar caught flagrant. Henry the Hoover carried out. Sorry. So a retired vicar has been put on the sex offenders register. Shock. After he was caught getting intimate with a Henry Hoover.
Fuck off, is he put on the sex offenders register?
Apparently, well...
Why would you put on the sex offenders register?
Well, let's find out. John Jeffs.
Yeah.
John Jeffs.
Vicar Jeffs. 74. Was wearing just a pair of lady stockings and a vacuum's nozzle, which he was thrusting into when he was caught by a churchgoer. This is why he's on the register.
Right.
Who was attending a talk about Ascension.
Blasphemer.
They described how he was standing between two dark chairs, thrusting into a Henry Hoover. I can't imagine you getting any kind of satisfaction from a Henry Hoover.
Have you tried a Henry though?
No, I haven't. But
Compare
I just don't feel
that to
like
Dyson. Some good stuff.
But like the suction
You're also
alone,
thinking about
like,
a guy that's dealt with a lifetime of sexual repression.
This is it. This is why they're all fucking. No, they're not all poets, I'm sure.
Wait,
Most,
there's a term that Mormons use for like basically trying to bypass the laws of God and having sex.
Right.
I can't remember what it's called, but it's a gross term. But it's when the girl and the boy are on a bed and they're just like, they happen to be naked and they're up against each other, and then their Mormon friends move the bed around.
So it's like a
They don't actually participate in the act.
It's like a Dutch ruddering of human
there's a term for it. Soaking. It's called soaking.
It's called soaking.
Yeah, that's why the term I remember is gross.
They create terms and conditions for like the happenstance. If you happen to be near a body that's moving and naked and child, you
God, it's not my fault. Whoops.
Oh my God.
It's I mean, imagine taking it all so literally.
Ruddering.
God.
Yeah, to not have the moral compass to be like, well, this is obviously fucking wrong.
Like,
if you're such a sexually repressed thing like that, though, you can see why Henry Hoover and stockings would be appealing.
But so he was thrusting into a Henry Hoover, which again I don't feel like. I mean, how big are the nozzles as well? Like, are you getting?
They're big enough, but they're just like super rough.
I know, but just like
just like plastic.
I guess you just
he must have lined it. Like,
yeah, maybe. Or put like
I reckon there's no like hitting the edges. I think it's just all the suction, right?
Yeah, but like even then,
I feel like I need to experiment to see myself. Like, what joy are you getting out of that?
I think you'd presume, right? So as a person who's never done this, I would presume that
just to let you know,
this is a novel
It's
angle.
like you hear, if you're a person like a vicar who perhaps has never had sexual contact with another person, you might presume that like a blowjob is just like
actually
extreme suction, right?
Or
like,
the opposite. Just an ocean breeze blowing on the tip.
So maybe he's
just
like, and that's for him going, oh, this is really wrong because this is what the heathens
that's
do.
the horny sexual highs.
Yeah, exactly.
So the light breeze
exactly.
on a fairly untouched penis is probably quite a sensitive experience.
A breeze rolled in and I jizzed in my pet.
In my bed. Exactly. I think maybe that's where this has come from. I don't feel that they should be on the sex offenders register, personally.
But someone came... Whoa. So you think somebody coming across someone who's like just wanking into a fucking Henry Hoover?
That's up to them.
That's a bit odd to do that in a church.
Yeah.
You should know boundaries enough to at least do that in your own home.
Or was it like in the main hall? Or was it like in their private
He is a
office?
vicar.
He was standing between two dark chairs thrusting into a Hoover at the
Why
Baptist.
does it matter what colour the chairs?
At the Baptist, I don't know why that's important, but at the Baptist Centre in Middleton, Cheney, Northamptonshire.
Yeah, but was he in his room and in his private room?
I don't think so. This person...
I guess it's a public
Like,
place.
did he do it to like...
I don't know why we're trying to give him a fucking card out of this.
Oh, no, I'm willing to do this. I'm willing to give him cards. This is another thing I was reading about. Moral relativism, right? The idea that
definitely be
what's
a
good and
spectrum
wrong...
of like what, like the sex offenders register is broad as fuck.
Yes. And I think it's too broad.
As in, like, so broad in terms of, like, yeah, like, if you were just taking a piss on a highway... I think
if you're in your own time...
Potentially, if somebody caught you...
Well, yeah. I mean, it's up to the courts and it's up to the police whether...
This seems a very kind of, you know... They were attending a talk about Asperger's syndrome, and this guy's fucking thrusting his dick into a fucking Henry Hoover. Yeah. I feel like there's at least cause for kind of...
Well, I guess if there were children around, then it could be considered dangerous to children.
There's a higher risk, yeah.
But like,
exposure.
I do think that like this guy isn't like involving anybody else apart from the poor Henry, of course. Yeah. I mean, do you think he went for that Hoover because it has a face?
I will say this. I feel like this article's a bit wrong here. It says... that Jeff was continuing to push his groin towards Henry, famous for its relentless and powerful suction. I don't think that its suction is very good.
That's a joke.
That's a good one. It has to be, but its suction's terrible. I think it's like using
He's doing it because it's the only Hoover with a face. Let's be honest.
It's the only Hoover with a personality.
It's the only Hoover with a face,
but you're technically fucking its nose.
You can only abuse things with a face. Yeah.
Hot.
Yeah, right. Nose fucking. Anyway, he went to court.
Here you go, Henry. Snort this up.
Kind of in Smith's camp, despite it being in a public place, which the risk of children seeing you, he's fucking an inanimate object.
Wait, so he appeared at
doesn't matter.
He appeared at Northampton Magistrates Court to deny what he'd done in September 2020.
I didn't do
Finding him guilty, a magistrate said, "Why you thought it best to bring this matter to trial, I have no idea." He told police that he did it because he felt naughty. As well as having to sign the sex offenders register, he was ordered to pay £845 in costs.
That's the rough there was a cost financial of cost. Henry Hoover.
He also has to give £200 in compensation to the victim who witnessed the sex act.
Oh, that's a bloody expensive blowjob, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's a lot.
It says that his defence lawyer said that Jeffs was still coming to terms with the loss of his wife at a young age and was in a lot of pain because he was ignoring his health and his diabetes was not
medicated. Like then.
He lost his wife at a young age. He's what, 75?
74.
How long has he been?
So it's been a while.
But
he's still coming to terms with it. He's also coming with Henry.
That's
Also, is that like that's going to be a church Henry Hoover that's used by lots of people?
Yeah, shit.
That's kind of gross.
They're going to be like, oh no.
Used by lots of people. I don't think they're all fucking passing it around and fucking it.
Well, the janitor...
No, like just cleaning with it.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. It's just
it's picked up a lot. Maybe that's the naughty part.
Somebody scrawled free use on the back of this Henry.
Someone's cut the hose off and gone straight into the nose. He's not even giving it a bit of hose.
Why is his face, his smile's turned upside down?
Oh, he's gone sad.
I swear he's looking somewhere else.
We used a Henry, didn't we? For nefarious means, although it was...
Oh yeah, that was the one we sucked all the air out of that vac.
Good suction.
But there was no suction to the penis.
No. Indirectly, maybe.
Indirectly. Anyway, that's the funny news stories for you. One of them not so funny. Avoid sharp knives near your penis at night or sleeping.
If you're a sleepwalker,
just lock those knives up in a place and hide the key until the next day.
Unless you're really good at unlocking things sleepwalking.
I mean, I guess the things that only has to happen once for you to then completely cut yourself.
Strap yourself down like in
like a
what's that Marvel Moon Man?
Moon Knight.
Moon Knight. Did you watch that?
I haven't watched it either.
No, it didn't appeal to me, but is it good?
Yeah.
Nice.
It's alright.
Won't go into it, but he strapped himself down. Anyway, strap yourself down if you're worried about cutting yourself with a knife in the night. And I mean, I'm sure he was dreaming about cutting goats up or whatever. So
slaughtering a goat or a sheep.
I saw a video recently of a ram with the testicles of another ram stuck between his horns.
Oh, I saw that as well.
Did you see that?
They were trying to get him off, but it was like he kept tugging.
How are you seeing this?
It's like,
Where is that?
Reddit.
So like,
I don't see this on Reddit.
A ram's
I don't know why
horns,
I saw it.
Imagine a ram's horns that are shaped
you looking
a lot
in
like the back
subreddits?
of a...
That's not
No, just on Popular.
It was just nuts, yeah.
You know like the back of a claw hammer that has like that groove for pulling out nails?
Yeah.
Its horns were like that, and it had gone up behind another goat and got its bollocks deep down in the claw of the hammer, and then they were both trying to get apart from each other, but obviously
then the humans were trying to intervene, but obviously the ram was moving, so it's like pinching it further up, and it's like, oh, you can just see that he's just... I think, yeah, you're probably better off just snipping it and calling it a day.
And the other, obviously the goat on the front was like,
oh, get him off me!
God. Imagine re-rolling as a goat and having that happen to you.
Gotta be careful.
Re-roll!
Anyway, thank you to our supporters that are dropping like flies after this episode on patreon.com/hatfilms. You guys get to pick the best hypothetical of the week and also support us and have that nice, warm, fluffy feeling in your hearts.
Indeed. Knowing
that you're able to get Hat Chat continuing. Also, if you have any interesting, funny news like the chopping off bollocks story, please send it to our email, hatchat@hat-films.com.
Doesn't have to be violent. Or
doesn't have to be violent. In any,
funny.
More funny.
Good. More funny.
More funny. And also, you can send us fingals, much like Holly did.
Yes.
And we very much appreciate having those at the start of our episodes.
Indeed.
Thank you very much.
Also, if you happen to want a different podcast to listen to, maybe something involving Dungeons and Dragons or funniness from us with a story, you can try Booty. It's Hat Films D&D Booty. That's hitting the charts. That was in top 3. Oh, Smith's showing us the video.
I don't want to see it.
There he is. It's caught in a vice grip. But because it's the other sheep that's trying to get away. He's kicking away, but he's still pinched. He's held in place. He's twisting him. The twisting. I don't want to see the twisting. The twisting is the worst part. The twisting is so real.
Stop it.
No, not the twisting. Anyway,
look, they're so stuck in there.
There's no risk of this happening in the D&D. Any balls being twisted. Maybe Titus's. Or
we've had testimonials of Booty. No, stop!
Stop this!
I don't want to
those eggs. Look at those eggs. He's not even helping him. He's just filming. Anyway,
we've had testimonials of people that have been like, I can never get into a D&D podcast, but Booty is the one for me because we are very loose, a bit more role play and comedic. So we use D&D as kind of like a driving system.
Yeah, it's fairly loose. It's not too strict, but it's still within the boundaries.
We abide by the rules.
Yeah,
but the rules aren't governing the show.
It's on episode 6. We're hoping to get 10 episodes for that series. So and if we'll
it's
give
not
some
a huge
time.
Commitment.
No,
not like the multi-year campaigns out there.
Indeed.
Who would listen to those?
I know.
Mental.
Who makes those? They're so long. Thanks for listening today.
Thank you.
And watching. And we'll see you next time.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.